think if there is good news, it is this, that the key decisions about where we get our energy, how we move ourselves around, how we design our cities are not actually made by Donald Trump. They are made at the city level, in big cities like this, at the state level. You know, Michelle Obama had that wonderful line at the Democratic National Convention where she said, when they go low, we go high. And she was talking about tone and not wanting to join Trump and his gang in the gutter. What I think we should be doing is taking that ethos and applying it to deeds, not just tone. When they go rogue, when they go low, we have to aim higher in our ambitions. And we have that power at the subnational level to do that. And it is about climate, but it isn't just about climate, because we live in a time of overlapping crisis. Yes, we are up against it. The climate clock has struck midnight. It is the next 5 years that matter. We cannot write off the Trump years and say we'll do it after we elect Democrats. We just can't. We don't have that time. So it means that everywhere that Trump does not control, every city, every state, every university, every neighborhood has to do more than they ever imagined possible. And what is so exciting about this initiative is that it embodies that spirit, but it also embodies that spirit of acknowledging that climate change is not the only emergency. There are so many emergencies that predate Trump, emergencies of racial injustice, of violence, of exclusion, of violations of indigenous rights, of violations of women's rights. So we need to weave something here where we have truly intersectional solutions. One of the things we're proudest of in the LEAP is that we redefine what a green job is. We say, yeah, sure, it's guys with hard hats putting up solar panels and wind turbines and building subway cars. We know we can create 10 times more jobs when we invest in public transit, in efficiency, in renewables, than when we put those dollars into fossil fuels. But we also say that there's a lot of low carbon work that never gets recognized as such, like caring for our kids, like healing the sick, like making art. This is low carbon work. This is the caring economy that improves our quality of life. It's overwhelmingly work done by women, overwhelmingly work done by immigrant women. So as we contract the extraction economy, we need to generously expand those economies of care. We see this as a 21st century jobs program. This is about the moment we're in, where we know we have to say no to what we don't want. There's no choice in that. There's a lot coming at us that is extremely dangerous that we need to stand up to. But we need to find ways to say no and yes at the same time, of pushing for real transformation. Because if we just are in a defensive posture of saying no during the Trump years, the best case scenario is we end up exactly where we started before Trump. And that was a very dangerous place indeed. And from a climate perspective, it's entirely unacceptable. So we need the yes and the no woven together, and that is what the LEAP is about. It is not a negative document. It is a forward-looking, bold vision that is as bold as the crises that we face. It is in line with the crises that we face, the severity of the crises we face that demand this kind of transformation. So it's very exciting to me, and I want to congratulate all the local activists who are part of Climate Mobilization and this broad coalition. I'm not going to name all the groups now because I know others are going to be doing that. You know, the wartime mobilization metaphor is something that I've always struggled with, right? Because this is different. We're talking about building an economy of peace, not an economy of war. But when I was writing This Changes Everything, I was so struck by what humans were capable of doing when they set their minds to it during wartime. Did you know that during the Second World War, because of rationing of gasoline, use of public transit in the United States increased by 75%? Or that so many victory gardens were planted in people's backyards that at its highest point during the Second World War, Americans were getting 42% of their produce from fruits and vegetables that they were growing themselves. And this happened over a period of 4 years. And it shows us that when we put our minds to it, and when we mean it when we say this is an existential crisis, and that our kids' futures are on the line here, and we have to act like it, we can accomplish amazing things. So thank you for your leadership. I'm so proud to stand with you.